Rem,
Hi.
I had this wonderful idea that I wanted to pass along to Rem, and it's about fellow content creators across social media that we watch
That don't suck.
that don't suck, and that we watch instead of just watching TV all the time, because we are really the first generation that
Broke away from that.
broke away from the standard model of cable and TV and local broadcasts and all that shit. So these are some of the people that I watch, either just they're entertaining, some of them provide me inspiration, but mostly they're just people I think that you all should know about, if you don't know about already.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're going to talk about on this episode today. I know, Rem, you had said you want me to jump right off.
Yeah, Bob. Bob came at this a little more passionately than me. I was always a big YouTube fan, but lately in my life, I've just been busy as shit. So I got some people that I definitely, and also, Bob, like, especially before I had left it for a while, social media was such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
Making this, making that, making this, trying to get numbers. So I've stepped away from that stuff a little bit just to catch my breath because my life was fucked.
Yeah.
And things weren't going well and I needed to change things. So I'm going to be a little more background on this one, but I will have some people that I want to mention because I like and also everyone we're mentioning, we would fucking love to have you on the show. Here,
Absolutely.
Okay? We're not talking about we're not going to talk about some celebrity. We're talking about content creators here.
People like us.
That make better.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, even much more in tuned than us.
And Rem, you brought up a great point. These are everyone that I brought up. I would wholeheartedly want you to come onto the show.
Just
Absolutely.
because it's a lot of niche shit that's very, very interesting.
Yes.
And these people are very, very educated. So anyway, so we're going to shout some people out. Maybe it will get paid forward. Maybe one of you will tweet it at one of them. Who the fuck knows?
I'll hashtag the shit out of all these just so they know.
Yeah, and I always tell
they know.
people, don't worry, because I know when you hear about going on two white guys podcasts, you're like, oh, how are these motherfuckers going to slant things?
Yeah.
We don't have a pro-Trump slant. We don't have a
Nope.
pro-Biden slant. We just exist.
And none of these things that none of these have a slant either. They're all
That's what it
very
is.
standalone things that are about.
So you're not going to like come on the podcast and then find out like 60 episodes again we said that there should be slavery and women should be in the kitchen. There's none of that shit, dude.
No.
So just letting people know. All right, Bobby, who are some content creators that you really appreciate?
First and foremost,
Actually, can I start with one because you got so many?
go?
Casual Geographic.
Tell me about it.
He is an African-American gentleman, fairly young, looks to be maybe 23, 24 years old. And he's just...
Does he do this on the streets of like
No.
London? Okay,
No.
because I do watch someone who does
Okay.
a lot of stuff like that. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Uses a little mic and stuff, but he is essentially like a zoologist. Like he knows everything about animals. So he just educates people on like animals that you should like, ones you shouldn't, ones that are actually fucking violent and scary that people like, ones that are people don't know that are amazing pets, but really educated, really funny. I mean, his whole angle is because if you watch stuff like that, a lot of times the people are very like stuffy and it's very scientific. And he's like, yo, this animal will eat your face. Like
Is he like trying to pick up the slack for Steve Irwin?
you know what? It has the heart of Irwin because
Okay.
this guy loves what he's talking about. But
Okay.
it's just cool. It's cool to see it. He's passionate and you do find out some really interesting shit.
That's cool.
He had this whole episode about animals that get high. There are a lot of animals that get high.
Is he on YouTube or is he cross platforms?
He's on YouTube where he's Casual Geographic, but I think he initially, because I think they called him Hood Nature when he was on TikTok initially, and he changed that into something a little less demeaning. But amazing content creator, funny as hell, but always shocks me how educated he is just because he knows shit.
No.
So there's one, Casual Geographic.
I like that one. Yeah.
Love what that guy's sending out.
Yeah. Wonderfully done. All right. I guess my first one is somebody who's fairly newer to the game
Okay.
in the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And his name is Jesse Crossan. For anyone who doesn't know Jesse Crossan's story, Jesse Crossan, very candid. He is someone who is a former incarcerated individual.
You've brought him up before.
Yep. But I'll give you the backstory because he's given this in his, he's on YouTube and he does reels, but he, as a teenager, and he's my age. So when he was
Our age.
when he went, well, I mean, when he went to prison at 18, I was 18 years
Oh,
old.
no shit. Exactly.
So we are like mirrored that age.
Yeah.
He had severe addictions to drugs, and he had other mental health kind of issues that didn't get resolved until he went to prison and
Yeah.
got mental health care for it. But long story short, he did a breaking and entering into someone's home while they were home.
Oh.
And then days later, he owed some people money and they were chasing him and he had a gun and he shot at them.
Oh, wow.
So he did not kill anyone. He did injure one of them. And essentially, he was charged with all these things that added up. And he took a plea deal. I want to make this clear. He took a plea deal that still had him in jail for 34 years.
Wow.
And so he was in jail. So that would have, if he did the entirety of the term, 19 years old, 34 years later, I mean, he would have been in jail for the majority of his life. He got better. He became like an when he got better, he decided to like be an electrician. So he's a licensed electrician.
That's awesome.
He got a bachelor's degree while in prison.
Basically just educated the fuck out of himself.
Yep. And he did everything to better himself. And in 2021, even though he had been petitioning for an early release,
Yeah.
the governor of Virginia, because he's from Virginia, provided him clemency. He didn't find out until 90 minutes before he got released.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was a little bit of a culture shock for him. But he had also he had formed he talks about how he got girlfriends in prison. Like he had pen pal girlfriends.
Yeah, they do that. That's big.
He had this woman he was dating for the first couple months. He was out as a content creator and then they no longer related. But mostly what he does is he works for a nonprofit organization called the Second Chance Project. And they travel the country to talk about, and it's the country right now because he's still on probation. Which he also shows how he does probation. It's all through his phone.
Wow.
It's not actually even talking to someone on the phone. It's just like checking in and they ping where you're at and make sure
wow.
like that. Yeah, he's very informative about the correctional system, about what's broken about it, about what needs to be fixed, about things that like the show Orange is the New Black.
How it's fake
Kinda-
as fuck.
Well, no,
Or
things
romanticizes it.
he talked about how it romanticizes it, but a lot of that stuff is true.
Oh.
So like the fact that for-profit prisons are terrible places.
Yeah.
They're terrible places because how do you keep them running? You have to keep people incarcerated.
Yeah.
But the upsale on even basic things in commissary, like what we pay out here in the real world as opposed to what you have to pay in there. Even the minuscule amounts of money they make aside, even how much it like a razor out here could cost us what, $2? Inside there it could cost 10.
Yeah.
Like it's things like that. And he says we have a correctional system that is just set up and it's very punitive and that's not very helpful.
No, it doesn't rehabilitate.
And that's his point, is there are a lot of people, there are as many people in the prison system that are just what they need is to be rehabilitated. And he said there are people that there's no hope for them.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's treated like everybody in prison there's no hope for you.
And that isn't the case.
That isn't the case. And that's why that's what he does.
I'm telling you, listen, if you flash back to the video when you first brought this guy up, you will see me telling you, DM this dude.
I have talked to him.
Yeah.
Because he did he went to the Boston Public Library.
Oh, wow.
To do he's been up to here in Massachusetts a couple times.
Figure out the next time he is and be like, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, because he does podcasts too. He does.
Just say, listen, man, we would love to pick your brain.
I know.
We were just a few bad decisions away from jail at one point
It's true.
ourselves,
It's
bro.
true. And I have had my own legal issues where I almost did end up in jail.
Solid.
Yeah. Willing to self-disclose that here. So he is the first one that comes to my mind. He is on YouTube.
Yeah.
He posts like the full length when he does podcasts. He doesn't do really podcasts on his own. He goes on to other people's podcasts. Most of them are people who are formerly incarcerated people.
Yeah.
And they talk about their experiences and they talk about the Second Chance Project.
That's cool.
I mostly watch his reels, his 90-second or his 60-second hitters. Because I find them very informative. He cranks out a lot of invaluable information in a short amount of time. And what's really cool is like if he did one this morning.
Yeah.
Where he's in a hotel. I think he's in California. He's in a hotel which has the push button to start the shower.
Yeah.
And he told a story about how that's how the prisons are in Virginia that he was at. The showers are, you push a button, it's on for 2 minutes. You have to wait a few seconds after it shuts off to turn it on again.
Yeah.
But the toilets are the same thing. And it was more, they put it in there more for the toilets so you couldn't overflow toilets in a riot.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he said the problem is that with that kind of technology is that it breaks a lot. And in a prison system, it's like, well, yeah, we'll fix it when we get to it.
Well, yeah, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and it's further sticking with the punitiveness. But he tells stories a lot like that. Like, oh, I just had this experience at a hotel and it reminded me of this moment in prison. And he did a recent one where he was asked by a fellow prisoner to be their best man.
Yeah.
They were going to get married in the meeting room.
Yeah.
But the prison said that you can't have visitors inside the prison, and you're only limited to 2 people from outside.
Yeah.
And even for something like that, like it's a.
But that's why a lot of criminals leave more angry than they showed up.
Yeah. Yep.
Justifiably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but that's a shout out to Jesse. If you never heard of him, Jesse Crossan, Second Chancer, and that's literally the full title.
Nice.
Yeah. Remy, do you want me to keep going, or do you have one?
No, I think I have another one.
Got it.
This is it's a famous website, and they've been on the fucking internet and YouTube for a long time. But the older I get, right, the more I like. There was a YouTuber I followed for a while called the Internet Investigator, and she does crime and fucking death videos and shit like that.
Yeah.
But lately I've realized that like that's another thing about getting older is you're like, I don't always want to see and hear about negative shit anymore.
Bro, very good. Very good. Yes, I agree with you.
Because it's somewhat damning. You find out shit you don't need to find out, and you're like, "What? How is this helping me?" So what I've done lately is I've become all my feeds are filled with animals guy.
Mm-hmm.
And one site that I'm obsessed with, and one content creator I'm obsessed with is the Dodo. Which is a famous animal website, but they always cover rescues.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing more life affirming than like, oh, these people found a dog with 2 fucking broken legs pulling itself across a road. So they took it in, they paid for its service, they got it little wheels for its back legs. Then they do a follow-up video that shows the fucking dog all happy and healthy.
I do watch those from time to time.
And it's just, for me, that shit is like drugs. Because it starts off and you're like, oh, the hardest part is the first 5 seconds of the video because, oh, look at that dog's dying in a ditch, or this fucking cat is fucking blinded because people burnt its eyes with cigarettes. Fucked up shit.
Yeah.
But you have to make it through that because they're never going to show it if there isn't a complete turnaround,
Yeah.
And at the end of the video, you just see these healthy, happy little loved animals. And it's like, that kind of shit is like, for me, it's like jacking dopamine directly into my brain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can just fucking, yeah, it's just amazing. Because for me, I'm a Dr. Dolittle guy. I fucking love animals. I'm obsessed with animals. But seeing people stop and go out of their way to help something that can't help itself, and then to see, and this is what I think is so interesting, is to see what love can do to something.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it always is. They don't show, in other words, too, a video that you watch on the Dodo that's 5 minutes long was taken across 3 years.
Yeah.
Because they show you at its worst and they show you at its best. But you will never not finish a Dodo video feeling like there's good left in the world. You will always be like, okay.
So what it sounds like is, I do agree, by the way, like inconsistency. If you're going to show someone at their best, show them at their worst, and vice versa. You're going to show someone at their worst, show them at their best as well.
It's hard to get through the start of some of those videos, but if you do it,
And what I ultimately agree with you too is that, yes, I am also tired of the negativity, and I do look out, and you'll see us a reoccurring theme across all these that I am going to say is that they're all either going to make you laugh or feel good.
Yeah, or teach you something.
Or they're educational.
100%.
Yeah.
That's it. But I used to do a lot of true crime shit and a lot of people talking about videos they saw on the dark web because I found that stuff interesting.
The dark web.
But in my 40s, it's more like, my life is heavy enough, man.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear about some fucking Boston Strangler that raped 30. You know what I mean? I just don't need it. So, I think that's what you'll hear from both of our choices today is none of us are going to be like.
It's very rare that you say things on this show and it makes me think of the band, The Weight.
Yeah.
I put in Nazareth. Oh, yeah.
I was on around 1/2 past.
Yes, great band, by the way.
Yeah. Take a
Pun
load off Sally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take a load for free. But I always like the line, put your load right on me.
Yeah. Yep.
And put your load, blow your load right on me.
Look, it's a very deep line they said, but they said it in a way where it's very sexual.
Yeah. Which is a lot of 70s music. But
yeah.
So yeah, I think, more positivity. And also you're going to find an animal theme with me too, because that shit is just safe for me. It really is. I can come home from work exhausted, watch a couple animal videos and be like, I'm good. My soul's at rest.
Have you seen your cats recently or your cat?
I saw my cat about 4 weeks ago, and she fucking waited for me and let me pick her up, dude.
Oh.
It hasn't happened in so long. Thank you for asking. It hasn't happened in so long. Usually when I go by, she gets nervous. She's one of those skittish cats.
Yeah.
Last time I went by, and she knew. She was in my old office on my seat. And I came in the room, and I could tell. I was like, you're going to let me do this?
That's awesome.
Dude, I picked her up, and she hates being, she's just a skittish little kitty.
Yeah.
And she just melted into my arms for like 10 minutes, dude.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was fucking
That's fucking
amazing.
sweet.
And then she got off, because you're never going to hold a cat. They'll go when they want to go. But then she got off and walked around on my desk and ate. And that means she wanted me to brush her, which is bonding shit. You know what I mean? So I brushed her, and she was purring. So yeah, it was fucking awesome. But, you know, I'm never too fucked up because she's in really good hands.
Okay, good.
Chris is amazing. I would not have let the cat be there if that wasn't the case. And I know the cat's happier there because she has a sister cat.
Yeah.
You know? But that was fucking amazing.
Shout out to Chris. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, you're the shit. A lot of love for you. But so yeah, I did. And it did a lot for me, bro. I actually saw the cat like 2 days before I started my job. And I was like, all's better in the world. Genuinely.
Well, of all of the things that I have chosen, I think based off of the story you just told, because I feel like it can tie in, I will choose the one that most aligns with that story that you told.
Yeah.
This individual is mostly on TikToks, but people share his reels. They share him to Facebook.
I know what you're going to do.
And his handle is at the Rockstar, but instead of the O's, they're X's.
Yeah.
And this
dude's
guy,
a fucking god.
Yeah, what this guy does is basically he finds videos that people have shot of them with their pets.
Yeah.
And what he does is he basically dubs in his voice speaking for the animal.
But perfectly. Like if the dog barks, he'll be like, hey, give me some food.
Yep. Or if the dog runs down a hallway, he actually moves himself away from the microphone to show that, that he's further away.
Oh, here I go. I'm going to run.
He actually got, most people don't know this, and it is fairly recent. He got famous for there's a video of a sea lion that jumped onto a boat because it was being
chased by a whale.
Chased by a pack of killer whales.
Yeah.
And my wife told me that the background to that story is very tragic because it's a lady. There's a lady who's like, oh my god. She's like, oh my goodness. Oh, and she's talking to the sea lion and trying to get it to go off. And she basically shoot it off the boat and it got killed.
Of course.
Which I'm like, you're a terrible human being.
I agree.
I found out after I watched this guy's video.
Yeah.
Because his video being the sea lion is, I was in legit tears.
No, they're all of them.
You know,
like they don't get old.
Like, oh, come on, lady, we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. And she's just like, get off my boat.
Did you see that whale?
Yeah. Did you see that whale? Or she was just like, I didn't even see where you came from. And his response was, you ain't looking. And I was like,
no, he's quick and they're masterfully done. Like masterfully. Like, because it's one of those things you see and you're like, any of us could have done this.
Yeah.
Any of us.
I love him. I love how he's done it.
And that's he's masterful.
Have you seen the one where you can tell the dog's like wailing? But he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And then the dog, you can tell the dog's like going, oh, and he's just like, no.
They're genius. And he added a girl voice recently.
Yes, yeah. He has somebody come in who, if there's multiple animals,
do the other voice.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
Yeah, it adds a great element of depth to it.
And it's like, and here's the thing too, it's always super innocent. He's never fucking, he doesn't have him swearing or wanting to, he's just like, what are you doing over here? Yeah, I'm doing zoomies. Just, they're
the zoom. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. But and that's another one exactly where it's like the balance of the internet, comedy, and animals. Dude, does it get better than that?
No, that's so good.
And that's like a harken back to the web in 2013.
Yeah.
When the web was dope. Like, I know we're going to sound old, but there wasn't bullshit. No one was angry. No one was canceling anybody. And it was all just memes.
It was literally everybody just fucking around and just trying to find out stuff.
But now we find out the rough stuff from fucking around. But it's like, it was so, and that's what, Casual Geographic and Rockstar, that's what they do. They harken back to a better age of the internet.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I just like, this is a perfect segue into him.
And I have another segue that's going to be great too.
All right, go for it.
Just because this one's poignant. All right. So there's animal creator. Yeah, you big surprise there. Who the name of the everywhere he is Hammy and Olivia, one word, okay? And they're two corgis. And he does voiceover for them. And I can't explain it. He does it in this very unique voice. But they're two corgis, and it's just going to seem dumb, but they're fucking brilliant. They're so well made. But the reason I'm bringing up Hammy and Olivia is because, like, a week and a half ago, Olivia's kidneys failed. And she just died. And, like, it's crazy because all these people who were followers were, like, genuinely destroyed by it.
That's the thing when you know you have something really good too.
Everybody
Yeah.
was like, oh my God. And they're rewatching our old videos. And like the content creator came out, he was balling, but he told people what happened. He's like, I'm not
Mhm.
making videos for a while.
Yep.
This stuff happens. But it was interesting because when you watch something that comes into your house every day, like when he first posted that she had passed away, I was like, is this AI? Like I thought maybe someone was fucking around.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, because that's the thing about animals, man. They're like humans.
Have you seen Kermit the cat?
No.
It's this guy. His cat's name's Kermit. It's a very, very cuddly, sociable cat. It's my wife's favorite
Yeah.
because like a lot of his videos are him taking selfie videos of him in bed, cat like loudly purring,
Yeah.
and the cat is very sociable,
Yeah.
and the cat just talks like it's literally like they're having a conversation.
Oh, like the guy in bed and he talks. He does,
yeah.
He does
And
like
his cat's name is Kermit. Yeah,
I have seen
and
that.
it's like Kermit, I have to get up. And it's like,
Meow. Yeah.
So that's one my wife loves. My wife loves Finn. Have you ever heard of Finn the cat? He's a cat that has cerebral palsy.
I've watched a couple special needs
she loves,
cats.
She loves Finn.
Yeah.
She loves Finn. Yeah, he's a very talkative cat too. His owners are professors who moved to Australia, and she found all this out by watching them.
Yeah.
I know we're going on a tangent on cat things, but you know what? Cat things make
They
listen.
rule.
They do. And Finn and Kermit. Those are pretty good cats.
Yeah, there's a few, and they're like little sweet boys or sweet girls.
Yes.
Yep. There's a lot of that.
I know when she's watching Finn, by the way, because it always starts with like a meow, meow.
Because he's just super talkative.
Yeah, and I mean, if you were to see it, you'd be like, what is wrong with that cat? And literally what's wrong is the cat has cerebral palsy. Like,
yeah. But it doesn't matter. You love the motherfucker.
Yeah.
You're gonna love anything.
Still a great creature.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I don't have any other animal ones besides the rock star.
We had a good run there.
We did have a good run. Yeah, we were able to
represented
play off each other. I don't know who it is, by the way, but I love the guy who makes the skibbity pap videos with cats.
Oh, I don't think.
So he makes like it could be a child playing with a cat, and you could tell how that's gonna end.
Yeah.
And he'll play the cat, and he'll be like, I told y'all what's gonna happen. And he even makes the smack noise. And he's just like, I told you all, the cat, if the kid messing with me, he's gonna get the skibbity paps. But then I'm the bad guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So that, I mean, I don't know who that is, but he's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's go to someone more on our speed, because they talk a lot about Gen X stuff. I've talked about her on this show before, but now I'll talk even more. I believe I even mispronounced her last name.
Nice.
I called her Sherry Diaz. It's not Diaz, it's Diaz. Sherry Diaz. She has handles. She has had to change her handles a couple times for various reasons. I think she did get hacked once. That's why. Because her original handle was the real Slim Sherry, which I was like, that's pretty good.
That is good.
That's pretty good. But she goes by Sherry Dindle now.
Oh.
On there. But it is in parentheses the real Slim Sherry.
Dindle?
Dindle.
Oh.
Yeah. But her name is Sherry Diaz.
Okay.
Now, she is somebody who is a Gen Xer. She's 50 years old. She has purple hair. She rocks herself. She has a business where she sells organic products for women.
Yeah.
So that's her bread and butter. She worked in the corporate world up until 17 years ago. And she said it was the most terrifying, but it's the greatest decision she ever made to leave it.
Oh, wow.
And she actually, a couple weeks ago, she shared a photo right after she quit her job of her 17 years ago. And she looks better now than she did then.
That's cool, right?
And that's the whole point. She said, I was terrified, and you can see it.
Yeah.
It's like that, oh my God, I did this, but then like, it's like The Graduate. Yay, we did this, but oh, fuck, the reality is setting in. Yeah, But anyway, she does a lot of her reels as the character, the real Slim Sherry.
Yeah.
Where she talks about what it is to be a Gen Xer, what it is to grow up Gen X, things that make sense to us.
Define us.
Yeah, and she has great comedic timing.
Yeah.
She's very quippy. But her videos are also educational, like talking about she kind of like poignantly says, why are Gen X helicopter parents? Because we were treated so much like shit.
We were completely ignored.
It's the pendulum swinging.
Yeah.
And she says like, and she always ties it in, and she talks with like a real, like she talks with like, I can't do her voice, but it's great. It adds
cadence.
it adds to it. It adds to just how great her point is. And I've seen her do Facebook Live where she's selling products with her wife, because they both co-own the company, and it looks like pretty cool products.
Yeah.
That they sell, and then they're all healthy. They're all
organic
ones. Yep. And she sells shirts too.
She sells C-shirts by the seashore?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I believe she's from Ohio, but she lives in Atlanta now.
Oh, that's a big change.
Yeah. And she said that's one thing, like, because she posts a lot when she goes home for the holidays.
Yeah.
That she hits up her old stomping grounds, like being reminiscent of old times, but then is like, yeah, it was fun and I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I feel her for that. as someone who lives in the same state that I grew up in,
It's weird.
I don't live near the same town I grew up in, and I purposely am like that because I don't.
I don't need them memories.
I don't. And my wife saw it. My wife saw it a couple years ago at my reunion because she saw that like at my reunion, it's like automatically boom, I'm like 16 years old again, or I'm treated like I'm 16 years old again.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that why don't you want to move back? It's like because of that. Because
Exactly.
I'm a 41-year-old.
You can leave the town, but the town won't leave you.
Thank you. But anyway, yeah, Sherry does a lot. She doesn't always just shamelessly plug her products. She does a lot of these Gen Xer quips. And my favorite one she does, have you seen the ones where people do the calling sound of the Gen Xer?
No.
Like it'll show one or like three people and they're all doing monotonous things around their house. And it's basically like the intro to Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Oh.
She's one of the people who's like in those videos.
Yeah.
And so like she's like folding laundry and then you hear the do-do-do, and then they all stop and they're like, and they go back to doing whatever. But then once the hook hits, like they all just start breaking it down. So once you hear that da-da-da-dun-da-dun, and even I'm like, listen, that song's badass.
Yeah, it is.
Like Peter, that's why when people ask me, I know I'm completely sidebarring here, but this is the kind of stuff she brings up for me, which all makes me feel good.
Plus, let's talk about the fact that we all thought Sledgehammer was one song, and he's literally talking about fucking.
Yeah, but he's doing it in a Peter Gabriel way, so it's bravo to him.
Step inside your fruit cage. I will be your honeybee.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm going to nut on you. I'm going to come on you, and you're going to love it.
And how about the fact that he does it all to that video, which is and nothing like it before, nothing like
Dude,
it
I'm
since.
convinced that video made me want to try drugs.
I would say so too. I would probably say he demanded everyone was on LSD.
Because it was like, holy shit, what's this guy's
Yeah.
brain like?
I
All that
know.
shit. Shock the Monkey was about masturbating.
I know. You know the famous scene from American? Well, it has many famous scenes in American Psycho.
Which one?
But the one where he's they're in his apartment and he's playing Genesis, but he's saying the dichotomy. People are either Peter Gabriel or they're Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with.
But I get it's a well-written speech.
Are you more of a Phil Collins or more of a Peter Gabriel guy?
Okay, you want to know the truth?
Yeah. There's no wrong answer here, by the way.
As shocking as it's going to seem, Phil Collins.
And that's okay because I think Phil Collins. So this is how I break it down to people. Who was more innovative? Peter Gabriel.
Yes.
But he was purposely that way.
But who wrote more poppy pop songs?
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins.
And we could sit here and have a show to itself about what his best pop song was.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I would personally go Easy Lover.
I love Easy Lover.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Easy Lover. I think In the Air Tonight is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
How can you just walk away from me? Walk away from me. That one.
Or Another Day in Paradise. I love that one.
His depressing songs hit,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't he have that Tarzan song too?
Yeah. That song's very tired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
That's
not
tired.
Disney songs
Yeah.
or whatever, but
So Sherry, these are the type of things that you bring up for me when I see your reels and stuff. You make me very nostalgic, which is something people our age
that's
are.
this, man. That's what this is
Yeah.
about.
All right, but I will. We've gone way off the rails, but I like going off the rails like that. All right, Rem.
All right, I'm going to bring up a very different site than we've discussed.
All right,
Are you familiar with Corridor Digital?
I have heard of them.
Okay. Corridor Digital are a bunch of dudes. Basically, it's like an indie band of special effects people. And they break down movies and explain exactly how the VFX were done. Sometimes they'll go in and they'll change and do better VFX than were in the movie and shit.
Yeah.
But as a movie fan, it's amazing to see the behind the scenes stuff, especially in terms of FX. I've always been really interested in FX movies like The Thing. How could
Yep.
we not be? But yeah, they do a bunch of videos. They have their own site too that you can subscribe to, which I recommend. But like they have these D&D campaigns, these Dungeons and Dragons campaigns that they actually
Really?
like do with CG, and they have the maps and they do all the shit.
Okay, this is no longer my thought. When you first introduced this,
Yeah.
this was my first thought that went through my head of what you were describing. I thought you were essentially describing OK Go.
The band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what? Like that? That's kind of like their take.
That
to,
is. Yeah. I think they've even done some of their videos. They think
yeah.
they did the 0G one.
But you took it in a direction where I was like, all right, well, that's its own thing, and it's still informative and educational and
it's
entertaining.
so interesting. And like sometimes they'll just, like I said, they redid a couple of the saber battles in Star Wars and stuff. But if you're a movie fan and a nerd, I love the how-to shit.
Yeah.
It's completely foreign to me, and I would never be able to do it, but I love finding out about it.
Mhm.
And I just recommend if you're a film fan who leans toward like effects heavy stuff and kind of want to learn, it's remarkable. They're artists in the truest sense.
Is that where you learned about the defibrillator scene from the thing? How they did everything?
Oh yeah, they've gone over.
Yeah. No, I mean, is that where? Did you know about it before them, or is that
No,
where,
not much
Yeah.
before them. No,
Yeah. So you know that basically they got a guy who had no arms,
dude,
made fake arms,
people
and then oh, yeah. Sorry.
people have been doing the amputee thing. There's a whole division of amputee actors I found out that have
Mhm.
like their
Yep.
own company.
Mhm.
That if you need a zombie movie or you need a guy who has no legs and wanted to, yeah, and even that like that's fucking dope because they're employing these people who have problems, and yeah, it's cool. But even that's so interesting, right? Like if that person gets their leg torn off and it looks real, that might have just been a fake leg and they have no leg.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love peeling back
Have they?
the curtain and seeing how things go underneath.
What kind of curtain is that? The pink curtain?
Pink curtain, the
Yeah.
meat curtain,
The pink meat curtain, right there. Is that where you found out about the most over the top death scene? I think in a movie is RoboCop.
Oh, dude, I actually recently watched the like 4-hour RoboCop documentary,
Yeah.
and it was remarkable. How they,
Didn't the majority of the money for that film go into just that?
a lot
that
of it
scene?
went into that scene. A lot of it went into even like the stop motion for the Ed 209s
Yeah.
were amazing. But I love that. And there's a new RoboCop game that just came out.
Have you played it yet?
No, but I've heard like for fans that it's dope.
Good.
Yeah, that it's accurate.
Yeah. So what is that site again for everybody, just so they know? Because I
Corridor Digital.
thank you. I think everyone should check out Corridor Digital.
And they've actually like one time they'll ask, they'll say like, "Hey, give us an idea for an episode." And on one occasion, there was because the Marvel movie Shang-Chi, okay, kind of came and went,
Mhm.
but they did something remarkable in that movie with the water CG. Water's really, really tough. And I remember watching it and being like, this is the best water simulation I've ever seen. And I told them to do a whole episode about it, and they did, and they called me out in the episode. So that was cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I guess I'll switch it up for my next one. I'll just go to this one is all YouTube. This one is all over YouTube. Rem, I don't know if we talked about it on the air, but I'm a big fan of all the people who are considered First Amendment auditors.
Yeah, no, I watch a lot of that shit
Yeah,
now.
I do too.
I've
and
learned a lot of what to say and not to say.
I watch We the People University. That's a great one. That's a guy who was a former sheriff,
Yeah.
and he breaks down people who record their interactions with police officers and just goes over our constitutional rights and where people diverge, where they don't, and where police are okay and where they diverge.
Yep.
He's pretty good. Honor Your Oath is another great one. That's a guy who actually audits, because a lot of the sites, they don't actually do the auditing. They just get the video and they critique it.
Yeah.
Honor Your Oath actually will go to places, and I love the guy.
Explain what the auditing is for people who might
All
not
right.
know.
So what these people do is they will set things in motion to get police interactions. I want to preface that they're not breaking the law. They're doing things to get a police
Attention.
officer's attention so that they can have a consensual encounter. That's something you hear over and over again. And just to see if the officer is aware of the lines of where they can go and where they can't go within the bounds of the law.
yeah.
And a lot of them, like the first one I ever watched, and it's a great one, is called Audit the Audit.
Yeah.
And that guy, he goes more in depth than anybody else. He talks about local laws. He talks about statutes in the districts of the country. Because do you know how the circuits
Yeah.
of
And they all
courts in the
function
country?
differently.
And they all function differently. And then the Supreme Court, he will go that in depth about an interaction, and then he'll critique the job that the person did and the job that the cops did, and he gives them a grade.
yeah.
Lackluster is probably the most famous, and a lot of that is people send him videos, and he just critiques what went on. And that is the one I watch the most. He is so big now that a lot of times what's happening now is you can do a Freedom of Information Act and get body cam footage.
Yeah.
It's harder if it's an active, like if there's charges, if someone's arrested, it's harder. It's a lot more red tape to get body cam footage.
Makes sense.
But oftentimes they do get a lot of body cam footage. So they have, if someone's recording on their phone and that. And I love some of the people who you can tell watch Lackluster. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going to make you famous. Put you on Lackluster.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
It's like the new World Star.
Yeah.
Well, not like for the site, but hollering it.
So yeah, you see essentially what it is. It's about us becoming more informed about our constitutional rights.
Yeah.
I think my biggest takeaway is you never have to talk to an officer. You don't.
First thing, listen, the first thing you learn is shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Smart lawyers, the first thing they tell you is shut the fuck up. Smart auditors, the first thing they tell you is shut the fuck up.
Yep.
How fast were you going? I was going the speed limit.
Not even that. Not even that. I've seen a video where
where are you coming from? That's none of your fucking business.
Yeah, you can literally just say, I'm not answering any questions.
Yep.
No, what they say is like if an officer asks you, do you know how fast you were going? Yes. How fast were you going? I know. You could just leave it at that. I know.
Because they want you to say that you knew you were.
Want
they
you to
want
incriminate
admit,
yourself.
Yep, because everyone does. Do I have consent to search your car?
No. Nope. Not without a warrant.
Nope.
Not without a warrant.
No reason to be searching my fucking car right now. You're not going to intimidate me.
My biggest takeaways are that I didn't know about is the simplest way you can find out if you are having a consensual encounter with a law enforcement officer.
Am I detained?
You can ask, am I detained or am I free to leave?
Yep.
And if they say no, then you know you're being detained.
Yep.
And at that point, you can invoke your right to remain silent. And there are some officers who said, I haven't even placed you under arrest. And these sites rightfully point out anything you say can and will be used against you. It doesn't matter when.
Yep.
If they have detained you, they are conducting an investigation.
Yep.
And
they're keeping you around long enough so that you fuck up.
Yes.
You're going to get nervous and you're going to say something you shouldn't. And yeah, shut the fuck up. It's the simplest rule.
Yep.
You know, and it's not what you think it is. They're not your principal.
And I want to be clear.
You don't have to do everything they ask you to do.
I don't like the videos where people are
deliberately assholes to cops.
Yes, because what I love about Audit the Audit is he
rates both.
He does, but he primarily gets videos where people were like pulled over or there was an encounter and they started recording it.
Yeah.
Because it just didn't feel right to them.
Yeah.
Then that is very natural and organic. He has done videos where people have called 911 calls in just to audit. And he gives them an F. He's like, no, you set the wheels of this in motion.
Yep.
Like you're antagonizing an officer to do these things.
And that's the other thing too, is like a lot of these people don't like, I don't have to comment to you. They'll be like, I don't have to say anything to you, pig. Like they'll push it. They'll push it. And it's like, no, what we're trying to get from this is respect from both sides. Now, do a lot of people hate cops? Yeah. But are 90% of the cops that pull you over going to be dicks? Probably not if you're white.
Let's
be honest. No, let's be fucking honest. You know, if you're black, they might kill you if you have a fucking hoodie on and it's past dark. But the fact of the matter is, there are people who go in very antagonistically, and at that point, the cop's gonna do whatever the fuck he can to just fuck you.
Yep.
So,
and that's what another site called Long Island Audit.
Yeah.
Literally, he's a guy who lives on Long Island, but he goes to Connecticut.
He deliberately gets into interactions. Is it that guy?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. But he is waging a war with Nassau County.
Is that the dude who will go and just film the police building and then they'll come out and be like, what are you doing? He's like, it's within my right.
Yep. Yeah. His famous videos are the ones where he was at the Connecticut State Police.
Yeah.
And the detective actually like physically removed him from the building.
Which
and they
said be fucking doing.
And they said they were going to put him under arrest. Yeah, that's a violation of his civil rights right there. But him, Long Island Audit, and the Lackluster Channel, and this is what I told you on the way up here, they have teamed up with this. I can only describe it as like similar to if like during COVID, how you could get a virtual therapist. Yeah. So they've teamed up with this site where if you are in a situation where you're pulled over, you can pull up a virtual civil rights attorney, and they can do the talking for you, or they can advise you on the spot
through your closed window.
Yeah, and then you pay a monthly fee to this website. And it's just whenever it happens, you get one. You hit like this button in the app, and it's like it alerts somebody, and within like 30 seconds, you can
talk to my lawyer.
Yeah,
and that fucks the cops up.
And I think that's pretty cool.
No, it is cool.
I think that's pretty cool that they're doing stuff like that.
But also, we want to point out the stuff we're mentioning. I've also seen examples where the people who get pulled over are being assholes, and like I've seen cops shatter your window. Like, be aware. Like they might break some rules, but if you push them,
free inhabitants. I love free inhabitants because they're dumb.
Yeah,
they're dumb. Yeah, a lot of them get their windows shattered.
Like, I don't have to fucking answer you.
I'm not driving. I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Like, no, asshole, you're fucking driving.
So just don't be an ass on either side. But the audit stuff really educates you on your rights, because there's shit you need to know. If you just fucking get pulled over randomly with no reason, nah, that ain't a pullover, bro. But anyway.
And it led me to look into, so there's one for Massachusetts. He's called Mass Accountability.
Yeah.
He mostly operates on the North Shore, like Revere,
He must be
Salem.
busy.
He is very busy. Yep.
Jesus.
So what I found out is in Massachusetts, where we are, you only have to give your identification as if you are involved, if you're driving a vehicle in a traffic stop, or if you're under arrest. Any other time they can ask and you can decline.
Same thing. They're going to ask your passengers to intimidate you.
No, that's covered under the Supreme Court. That you don't have to identify if you're a passenger in a car.
No,
that's across multiple states. Now, if they ask you to get out of the car, you have to get out of the car.
But anyway, watch the audits and inform yourself. It's really interesting, and I promise you, you have more rights than you think you do.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, Rem, back to you.
All right, this is going to be my last one. Kind of wrapping it up because I feel like we could go for days.
We could.
Are you familiar with cart narcs?
No.
Bob, you're going to love this. So cart narcs, spelled exactly how it sounds. It's a YouTuber who'll post up in parking lots. He'll wear like one of those like yellow vests that workers will wear.
Yeah.
And when people leave their carts and don't put them in the cart collector, he'll walk over their window and be like, "Hey, you left your cart."
That's my favorite type of human being right there. As
And
someone who puts my cart back.
Dude.
Yeah.
He's like, me religiously. I'll walk across the parking lot in 5-degree weather. And he'll hold him accountable and he'll say, well, you need to get out and put your car back. And sometimes they'll be like, fuck you. And he'll be like, no, fuck you. And they're like, do you work for the... He's like, no, I'm a cart knock, motherfucker. Do what you have to do.
I love that. No, I'm a cart knock, motherfucker.
Yeah, and I've seen... There are people in Texas when he did it. There were people that pulled guns.
I believe that.
You know? But this guy, it does not matter. He will and then, like, if you don't put your cart back, he'll stick a fucking bumper sticker on the back of your car that's, like, basically, like, I fucking suck. One of those. And, like, you'll see it, and people will be like, what the fuck did you do? He's like, I put a sticker on your car.
Because you're an asshole.
Because you're an asshole. Yeah, you just have one thing to do. All you have to do, anywhere you park in a parking lot, there'll be a corral. There'll be a carriage corral somewhere. And leaving it in a spot so someone can't park, leaving it, like, just fucking... Dude, listen, if you listen to what me and Bob recommend you today, you're going to find a theme. Humanity.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
Humanity. We want funny, sweet animals. We want people who don't have their rights abused, and we want people to be held accountable. And I just think cart narcs, first of all, you know, I'm a ballsy dude, but would I have the balls to do that? I don't think so.
I wouldn't.
No, I think I'd be really nervous in the modern landscape, but this guy doesn't give a fuck. And 50%, 60%, 70% of the time, they'll get out of their car and put the cart back. You know, people will be like,
could get shamed into it, though.
Yeah, no, I know. It shouldn't take that.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things. It's like, that's using your YouTube power properly, if you ask me. You know?
I agree with that.
So I'm going to end on cart narcs because I think it's just, and honestly, these videos are so enjoyable. You can spend an evening just watching him fucking bust people's balls.
I guess I'll end mine on a low-hanging fruit, even though I had other ones. My low-hanging fruit, and it's great, is retro entertainment TV.
Okay.
They basically, it's just them recording them playing retro game, like NES
I love
games.
shit like that.
Yeah. I watched one yesterday, the original Batman game for NES, based off of
the movie.
The first movie with Michael Keaton. Yep. It's very Ninja Gaiden.
100%. Because that's how a lot of those games were. Yeah. They just followed what worked.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And when I feel like getting my adrenaline going, by the way, yes, I do watch that one. I do watch Ninja Gaiden. People playing
because
that
it's like the hardest fucking game ever made. I tried to replay it recently. Oh, and I wanted to tell the people something interesting. This is a YouTube-centric episode, but YouTube fucking sucks. And YouTube now has 2 unskippable ads at the beginning of every video, and you can't use an ad blocker. Let me help you with that a little bit. I haven't gotten one ad since this whole thing started, okay? This is what you do. First of all, if you have a good enough ad block like I have, it'll just adapt. It'll put out an update and be like, you're good. But what you can do is this. Watch any video, because what'll happen is they'll have you run 2 videos, then they'll run you 2 more ads. That's just how it's going to work. That's what they do now.
Yep.
And so all you have to do is end any video before the ending. That is it. And anybody knows the last minute of a YouTube video is bullshit. It's like and subscribe, hit that like button. I'm doing a giveaway this month. Blah. So before the last minute, watch your whole video, and before the last minute, X out. And you will never, ever get an ad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got that in, because it looks like we're going to lose the feed soon. I see the light blinking at the top.
Well, hey, we love you. Thank you for rolling with us.
Yeah, thank you, Rem, for bringing your thoughts and your ideas and what you've been watching.
On the ride to Bob, I'm like, I don't know if I got that money. And then I matched you blow for blow. So good idea.
All right. And hopefully it's still recording. And until the next time, everyone, take care.
XOP, baby. Tell your friends.